Right, I may as well press that button and get going. Yes, it's snowing in the internet tonight because for the first time, the thing I do and use allows me to show snow. So it's not going to last for long. It's not, because this would get really irritating if we did this for the entire evening. I can actually do this, wait for it, and then it goes like this. It's just, look, lovely. Evening. Welcome to the third of four events this week in the Ricochet Book Club Christmas Festival. Tonight is weird for a number of reasons. Firstly, if you haven't managed to see the first two nights, you should go back and check them out. Our poetry event on Monday night and our Books of the Year 2020 last night were super. They were fab. I had so much fun with them. I hope you did too if you managed to see them. If you didn't, you can watch back in the Ricochet Book Club. You'll also be able to see them, more importantly, on the Shelf Analysis YouTube channel. If you're ever a little bit lost, best place to go, Shelf Analysis YouTube channel is where you'll find all of the events. And I'll tell you a little bit about tomorrow night's event in just a second. Tonight's is strange because it's just me. I talk to myself for a living every day on the radio. That's my job. I've done that since I was 19 years old. I've never done it in front of a camera before. And if you've seen Shelf Analysis before, you'll know it's an interview program, or we do panels like last night. I'm always talking to other people chat for a little while, then I ask something and then they talk and then they... But all of tonight is going to be just me on screen with you. So this is where I need a little assistance on your part. Ideally, drop some comments. Liz is paying attention to them. She'll stick the best ones up on the top. You can do that either if you're watching on Facebook or you're watching on YouTube as well. Throw in some comments about anything, like it's a regular quiz tonight, like you're sitting in a regular table quiz. And you know the way you heckle people who do table quizzes? I've emceed more than my fair share in my time. So please feel free to, and Liz will put the ones that are acceptable in on the right-hand side in the box here beside me, so I'll be able to have a look at as well. Already, Liz says we've loads of lovely people in already, including, hello, Elena Forey. Elaine, how are you? We haven't seen you since last year's Christmas party. We haven't, but good luck with Cave's new book next year. That sort of stuff. There'll be a little bit of that because there are, hang on, how many rounds? I know I should load this, right? I'm going to explain how this worked. There are 7 rounds. There are 6 questions in each round. The questions were compiled last Saturday night with myself and Liz. We started off by drinking beer. By the way, happy Christmas and Nazdravi. If you have one, please feel free to just, right now. We thought we'd have the questions knocked out fairly sharpishly. The evening ran on. So the further on we got, the stranger the questions became and the stranger the rounds did and the squiffier we got. This is just for fun tonight, this event. There will be no winners. There will be no losers. You are all winners, of course. I couldn't figure out a way to do it that would involve tables and winners and best and stuff. So there's none of that. You're playing against yourself tonight. And you are playing against your ability to remember what are going to be sometimes strange things about books and things that are book peripheral as well. So all of that is coming up. However, I do have some prizes to give away tonight. Thank you very much to 2 people, to the lovely Easons, who, I have an immense graw for. Thank you to Easons, who have given us 5 €20 Eason gift cards to spend on the books of your choice in your local Easons. So they're 5 prizes we have tonight. And thank you very much also to my friends at Rascals Brewing, as they've given me a case of the wonderful Happy Days beer, which I may have had 1 or 2 of in my time, just a couple. So 6 spot prizes tonight. How do you win one of those spot prizes? I'm going to make it as easy as I can. The entire festival has been run free. There's been no tickets for any of this. So I'm going to ask you to stick your hand in your pocket a little bit. Over the course of the week, I've been mentioning this. This is the Ricochet Book Club Christmas Appeal that's been running for the last few weeks. It is fundraising for the DSPCA, for Samaritans Ireland, and for the Peter McVerry Trust. I'm going to look up here in the top right-hand corner where I am currently. We are almost at €22,000. We're just shy of €22,000 at the moment. I would love to make it 30 between now and December 31st. That way, each charity comes away with €10,000. Tonight, if you would like to be in the draw for one of these spot prizes, you simply need to have made a donation to the appeal. Now, I'm going to put up a scroller on the bottom here. It's going to stay on for pretty much the entire quiz. There we go. So to enter the spot prize draw, for the 5 €20 Eason gift cards, or for a case of Rascals Brewing Happy Days Pale Ale, you just need to make a donation of any kind to the Christmas Appeal. Doesn't matter what that donation is. If you have made a donation already, you are also in this draw. Have a look. You can make donations at bit.ly/ricochet appeal. Then just mail your receipt or mail some sort of proof to ricksbookclub@gmail.com. That's it. We will have a draw at the end of the quiz. If you've got a receipt and you just fancy sticking that onto us, put your name on it. That's absolutely perfect. We'd love to do that. If you want to crop out all the important bits about you and send a JPEG, you can do that as well. We will have 6 winners at the end of the night for the €20 Easton gift cards or the Case of Rascals beer. If you want to put in books or beer in the email you send us, just to let us know which one you fancy. I don't want to give beer to somebody who doesn't want it. Where's the point in that? Make your donation to bit.ly/ricochet appeal. That will scroll for the whole quiz down at the bottom so you won't miss it. And just mail off some sort of proof to ricksbookclub@gmail.com. We will have a draw at the end of the quiz, and somebody is going to go away with those 6 prizes this evening. They are our spot prizes. Now I'm going to get rid of this. I've never done this before either. One of the reasons that we decided to split it up amongst charities this year is the DSPCA. The DSPCA are wonderful. You know that. We adopted 2 dogs during the summer. They were not handed in bad condition. They were given up by 2 very loving owners who, through unfortunate circumstances, couldn't keep the dogs anymore. And they have made the most extraordinary difference in our lives. And they have possibly been the difference between keeping our sanity and not over the last few months. I don't do this very often, but look. They're asleep. So over here, see? There is George is on the right and TJ is on the left. Already I can hear Liz downstairs going, like, don't let people see the spare bedroom. But there are the boys. Hi, Teach. Hi. Okay. And there's George. And they are our boys. And they were taken care of by the DSPCA until a suitable home could be found for them. And that's why they're getting some of the money that goes into the appeal this year. As well as that, some of it going to the Peter McVerry Trust to do wonderful work with the field of homelessness, and of course to Samaritans Ireland, because Ireland is going through a mental health crisis at the moment, and we all know this, and that is only going to get more severe over the course of time, and you may need their help at some point. I am going to shut up in a minute. What I'm doing is, this is the warm-up bit while everybody gets in the room and everybody gets their pen and their paper out and everybody gets ready and we all get ready to roll so we can sort ourselves out. I will briefly, just again, remind you that tomorrow night is the final event in the festival. It is going to be a cracker. It's our actual Christmas party tomorrow night, live at 8 o'clock. Here, wherever you're watching this, it is going to be Colm O'Regan, Darren Nigrifa, Liz Nugent, and Donald Ryan, all talking about their 2020, all reading from their work. And all of us, I hope, sharing a beverage at the end of the year. That's live tomorrow night at 8 o'clock here in the Ricochet Book Club and also on the Shelf Analysis YouTube channel as well. Are we almost ready to get cracking? And again, for those people who've just arrived in late, drop comments wherever you are throughout the course of this quiz. Let me know how poorly you think I'm doing. Let me know how well you think you're doing. And we'll get cracking in just a second. Hello to Chandrika. Chandrika, how are you? Wine, pen, paper, and a strong willingness to fail with aplomb. That's all anybody needs tonight. Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon. Good night to Deirdre, who really enjoyed last night. Thank you, Deirdre. So did I. Last night was just immense fun. And Denise just says, "Bout ye" from Belfast. Let us know where you are watching this tonight. Again, drop us a comment at any point between now and the end of the quiz. Are we ready? Should we begin? Should we actually get cracking so you get some sense of how this works? Round 1 is going to be awards. And what I will do is I will give you all the questions from round 1. We will move on to the questions from round 2. And in the best fashion of these things, I will then give you the answers to round 1 as well. Remember, you're only playing against yourself. Google them if you want to. We won't be impressed, you know. We won't. Question 1, round 1. Publishers Tramp Press have won Book of the Year 3 times in the last 5 years at the Irish Book Awards. Name all 3 books. And I can hear you already. What was that again? What? I'll repeat all the questions. It's fine. Publishers Tramp Press have won Book of the Year 3 times in the last 5 years at the Irish Book Awards. Name all 3 books. That's round 1, question 1. I am, however, going to have to clip on a little bit because it's either that or I'm going to just sit here staring at you in between questions for the evening. And that's going to be awkward for both of us, frankly. Round 1, question 2. Who is the only Irish author to have won an Oscar and a Nobel Prize for Literature? That is question 2. If you do your quizzes, you might know that one. Question 3 in round 1. Which Russian writer was forced by his country to decline the Nobel Prize for Literature in 1958? I like that one. It's a good one. That is question. There we go. Look, I even have a thing. I have a graphic that says words, which I forgot to put up. Story of my life. It's question 3. Question 4 is a sequence. Who came next? Marlon James, Paul Beatty, George Sanders. Who comes next in that sequence? It's question 4. Who comes next? Marlon James, Paul Beatty, George Sanders. Question 5. Winners have included authors from Turkey to Colombia, and it is one of the biggest monetary prizes in world literature. But what year was the first International Dublin Literary Award presented? Give yourself an extra point if you know who it was, just for the crack. Question 5. Winners have included authors from Turkey to Colombia. It is one of the biggest monetary prizes in literature. But what year was the first International Dublin Literary Award presented? And for everybody who is furiously, I can sense it already. I can't see them, but I can sense it. Who's going, what was question 2? What was question 3? I will run through all of the questions very quickly at the end of the round again for you. Don't worry. And question 6, the final one in round 1. And out of the 25 winners of the International Dublin Literary Award, I realize now that may be a giveaway to the previous question. How many of those were Irish? So out of the 25 winners of the International Dublin Literary Award, how many were Irish? That is question number 6 in round 1. I'm talking a lot. There's going to be a lot of whistles being wetted. Hello, Michelle. Michelle says, I'm distracted trying to see what books you have behind you. It's a lot, Michelle. There's a lot going on back there. At some stage, I felt like I should have, and maybe I'll do it at some point. I'll run you through everything that's there, the Kevin Barrys and the Darren Negreefas and the Nicole Flatterys and everything that's behind me. Take a while, though. Very dull. Round 1 questions. I'm going to give you a quick repeat on all of 6 questions in round 1. Publishers Tramp Press have won Book of the Year 3 times in the last 5 years at the Irish Book Awards. Name all 3 books. That's question 1. Question 2. Who is the only Irish author to win an Oscar and a Nobel Prize for Literature? That's question 2. Question 3. Which Russian writer was forced by his country to decline the Nobel Prize for Literature in 1958? Question 4. Who came next? Marlon James, Paul Beatty, George Sanders. Who's next? Question 5. Winners have included authors from Turkey to Colombia, and it is one of the biggest monetary prizes in literature. But what year was the first International Dublin Literary Award presented? And question 6. Out of the 25 winners, how many were Irish? That is question 6 in round 1. Thank you to Katie, who is chanting bookshelf tour. If you're very good, and if we manage to get a chunk of money for the Christmas appeal, you'll get a bookshelf tour at the end. How does that sound? Does that sound fair? If we manage to make some money and enough people are hanging around, I will do a very quick tour of the bookshelves at the end, which I haven't done at any stage through 57 episodes of Shelf Analysis and this week. That's round 1. Again, if you would like to get into the draw for the prizes that we are giving away, we just have some spot prizes that we're going to throw out. Look at the scroller at the bottom of the screen. It has the details of what the prizes are, where you can make the donation, and then where you send the proof of that donation to. It can be any denomination, doesn't matter. We will pick names at random and they will be our winners, and we'll tell you about that at the very end of the event tonight. Are we ready for round 2? After round 2, I'll give you the answers to round 1. So just, we can all take our time together. Okay, happy with that? Round 2 is going to be, ready? Classics. I should also stress, by the way, that any responsibility for anything that is wrong in any of these lies solely with me and old-fashioned cocktails. Question 1 in round 2. In Armando Iannucci's recent cocktails are still having their effect. It was Saturday. In Armando Iannucci's recent adaptation of Charles Dickens' David Copperfield, Ben Whishaw plays Mr. Wickfield's clerk, who succeeds in becoming his partner through blackmail and manipulation. But what was the name of the clerk? Also, the name of a fine band, as I remember it. Well, they weren't that good. They were fine. They were okay. That's question 1. In Armando Iannucci's, thank you, recent adaptation of Charles Dickens' David Copperfield, Ben Whishaw plays Mr. Wickfield's clerk, who succeeds in becoming his partner through blackmail and manipulation. But what is the name of the clerk? Question 2. Among Ash Heaps and Millionaires was one of the titles considered by the author of which 1920s novel? Among Ash Heaps and Millionaires was one of the titles considered by the author of which 1920s novel? Have a guess. You're right. It's question 2. Question 3 is a gem that I had no sense of, and Liz found the other night. My Dark Vanessa by Kate Elizabeth Russell was one of the favourite Ricochet Book Club books this year. But which Irish writer invented the name Vanessa to refer in verse to a woman he was involved in a romantic relationship with for many years? It's good. My Dark Vanessa by Kate Elizabeth Russell was one of the favourite Ricochet Book Club books this year, but which Irish writer invented the name Vanessa to refer in verse to a woman he was involved in a romantic relationship with for many years? That is question 3. Question 4 in our classics round. Anne of Green Gables by Canadian author Lucy Maud Montgomery is now the subject of a Netflix series, Anne with an E. But what is Anne's second name? Question 4 in our classics round, round 2. Anne of Green Gables by Canadian author Lucy Maud Montgomery is now the subject of a Netflix series, Anne with an E. But what is Anne's second name? I'm astonished so many people are still paying attention. I've literally been talking to you for the last 15 minutes. Just talking. That's question 4. Question 5. We've all had means of coping with COVID and lockdown. One of Liz's was to read a book which had been lurking on our TBR for far too many years. What is the first line of a novel of 1851 whose epilogue begins with the words, "And I only am escaped alone to tell thee"? That's question 5. We've all had means of coping with COVID and lockdown. One of Liz's was to read a book which had been lurking on our TBR shelf for too many years. What's the first line of a novel of 1851 whose epilogue begins with the words, "And I only am escaped alone to tell thee"? That's question 5. Name the book. And question 6. What is the novel Frankenstein's alternative title? What is the novel Frankenstein's alternative title? That is question number 6 in round 2. I'm going to go very quickly through those again for you. Actually, first I'm going to say, Martin says, why are there 2 Nicole Flatteries on your shelves? Martin, there are 2 Nicole Flatteries on my shelves. If you're looking for an honest answer, I don't know. In theory, these shelves up here, and particularly this one here and this one kind of up here, these are all Irish authors and they're all books that are absolutely being kept. I didn't realize that too. It's one of them signed. Let me find out. One of them is signed. It's not that one, so that one's going. Okay, that's fine. And no, you can't have it. One of them is signed. Oh, this is the one that's signed. This is the one that was signed at Listowel. See? So that's signed. It doesn't answer your question. And thank you for pointing out how rowdy my shelves are. This is going to become a shelf thing, isn't it? It's going to be less about, it's going to become my shelf analysis, where my shelves are analysed. Round 2, I'll skip through the questions again. In the recent adaptation of Charles Dickens' David Copperfield, Ben Whishaw plays Mr. Wickfield's clerk, who succeeds in becoming his partner through blackmail and manipulation. What is the name of the clerk? Question 2. Among Ash Heaps and Millionaires was one of the titles considered by the author of which 1920s novel? Question 3, My Dark Vanessa by Kate Elizabeth Russell was one of the favourite Ricochet Book Club books of the year, but which Irish writer invented the name Vanessa to refer in verse to a woman he was involved in a romantic relationship with for many years? Question 4, Anne of Green Gables by Canadian author Lucy Maud Montgomery is now the subject of a Netflix series, Anne with an E, but what is Anne's second name? Question 5, it's the one about what's the first line of a novel of 1851 whose epilogue begins with the words, "And I only am escaped alone to tell thee." We want the first line of the novel. First 3 words will do. And 6, what is the novel Frankenstein's alternative title? That is question 6. In round 2, Liz has suggested we should give away another copy of the Nicole Flattery as a super spot prize. Fine, done. Not the signed one, so that one's going back on the shelf. Okay, I'll go back over there. Okay, so this is a super spot prize, the spare copy of Nicole Flattery's wonderful short story collection, Show Them a Good Time, that I did not realize I had. That's going, put it next to the dogs. That's a super spot prize. If you would like to win any of the spot prizes tonight, so there's now 7 of them, the details are at the bottom of the screen below, just in case you came along a little bit late. All we're asking you to do is make a donation of some kind to the Ricochet Book Club, Christmas Appeal in Aid of the DSPCA, Samaritans, and the Peter McVerry Trust. All of the details are at the bottom of the screen below as to how you can win. Would you like the answers to round 1? Okay, again, whistle wetting. Bear with me, please hold. Answers to round 1. Let me know how you're doing, by the way. Continue to throw comments in, whether you're in Facebook or you're watching this on YouTube. Throw comments in and we'll get them into me. Question 1 in round 1. Tramp Press have won Book of the Year 3 times in the last 5 years at the Irish Book Awards. Name all 3 books. They are Emily Pine's Notes to Self, Mike McCormack's Solar Bones, and of course, recently, Darren McGreefa's A Ghost in the Throat. Notes to Self, Solar Bones, A Ghost in the Throat. Question 2, who's the only Irish author to win an Oscar and a Nobel Prize for Literature? That is George Bernard Shaw, because he won it for My Fair Lady. Question 3, which Russian writer was forced by his country to decline the Nobel Prize for Literature in 1958? Boris Pasternak, he was. Question 4, who came next? Marlon James, Paul Beatty, George Sanders. They are consecutive winners of the Booker Prize, which means next is Anna Burns. I can hear those moments of people going, oh, I can hear it from here. And this is not supposed to be a two-way thing. I'm not supposed to be able to hear you through your laptops, but I can. Question 5. Winners have included authors from Turkey to Colombia. It's one of the biggest monetary prizes in literature, but what was the year of the first International Dublin Literary Award? We may have slightly, given it away. It was 1996, and it was David Malouf for Remembering Babylon. Fact fans. Question 6. Out of the 25 winners, how many were Irish? There were 6. Colm Tobin, Colm McCann, Kevin Barry, Mike McCormack, and Anna Burns are the 6 winners, and those are the answers to round 1. Liz says, let me know when to pick winners. We will pick our winners at the very end of all of this. So at the very end of the whole thing, just at the very tail end, maybe when I'm showing you around my bookshelf, we'll pick all of the winners for the prizes, for the spot prizes that you are entering for below. Round 3 is here next. Let me press this button, because look, there's a thing. And the thing goes, round 3 is randomness. Mainly because these are questions we just really liked and didn't really have a round to stick them in. Question 1 in round 3. Which author makes a cameo appearance in Italy in the John Boyne novel, A Ladder to the Sky? It's question 1. Which author makes a cameo appearance in Italy in the John Boyne novel, A Ladder to the Sky? Question 2. Love this one. Question 2. Harper Lee, author of To Kill a Mockingbird, and which other well-known writer bonded as children by collaborating on stories written on a typewriter purchased for them by Lee's father? This is the type of information I love to hoard. Harper Lee, author of To Kill a Mockingbird, and which other well-known writer bonded as children by collaborating on stories written on a typewriter purchased for them by Lee's father? That is question number 2 in round 3. Question 3, continuing the Harper Lee theme. What was the name of Harper Lee's second novel, published in 2015? That one. You remember it, don't you? You do, you remember it. Do you? That's question 3, the name of Harper Lee's second novel, published in 2015. Question 4. In the novel The Life of Pi by Jan Martel, the shipwrecked Pi shares a boat with a number of creatures, including a tiger. What is the tiger's name? That's question 4. I'd love to know how you're doing. If you fancy throwing in comments as well, how you feel you're doing at this stage. It doesn't necessarily have to be numerical either. It's not always about the scores. It's how you feel in your soul that you're doing in this contest tonight against yourself. Question 4. In the novel The Life of Pi by Jan Martel, the shipwrecked Pi shares a